Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Real Arsenal Talk with your hosts, Larry and Stevo. Stevo, I know you're mouthing the intro to me right now, but, you know, it's exciting times, man. It's exciting times. It feels like a cup game because we've won, right?
It's, you know, first of all, well done. Congratulations to the lads. As you well know, I think there's quite a lot of anger building up throughout the week after Wednesday's game. And if we'd have done this pod before today's game, I was absolutely fuming, he said. I was absolutely, I needed more than what you're drinking, mate. I did, honestly. I was devastated after Wednesday's result, but moods changed, outlooks changed. It's still in our own hands. At the same time, it's still in obviously fucking City's hands. But no, a lot more happier, mate. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, because...
Not about the game, but obviously we'll go into that, but, in general...
I think the same as you, really, after the Wednesday match. Of course, I mean, I didn't really want to be an Arsenal fan. I didn't want to be associated with the club. I wanted to delete the podcast from existence. It was terrible. And the problem is, it's not like it was the worst performance that we'd ever seen. It wasn't that at all. It was just everything built into that, like sort of culminated into that Wolves match. And yeah, it was I don't want to say devastating because it sounds like Wolves, sort of destroyed us. That wasn't the case. And that was the worrying part. And the problem was the fact that they didn't put us to the sword, and yet we still couldn't finish them off like in the first half, which we should have, really.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't really want to talk too much about the Wolves match because obviously after tonight's result, that's kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant because it's obviously it did some damage, to the league table. That Wolves result did some damage, and especially after City beat Newcastle last night as well. Yeah, it could have, today was set up for exactly the type of stuff that we have nightmares about, the absolute nightmare-inducing stuff. It could have been today. It could have been embarrassing. But not only that, like even if it was just like a 1-0 win to Tottenham, for example, that's still not, for me, my dad said, because he messaged me, he was like, well, Arteta's last game tomorrow about today. So I was like, I kind of, yes, I see what you're saying. And he was right. He's right, because if we lost to Tottenham today, then, where the fuck would that leave us? Seriously, for the rest of the season, where would that actually leave us? But yeah, so real quick on the Wolves thing, by the way, the only thing I did want to ask you is, I know we had this conversation on WhatsApp, but the fault for their goal, would you think it was down to Raya or down to Gabriel? I just want to know your thoughts on it.
Initially, I thought it was Gabriel. And I've looked at, I told you, didn't I? I was just replaying it on over and over in my mind. I was going to sleep on the night and I could not get that out of my mind. It was absolutely so painful. I couldn't sleep. I kept, when sometimes you go to sleep on a night and you're singing songs that you've heard throughout the day. I kept playing that image over and over again of when Gabriel goes head it. I think they both were to blame, but I think it was more David Raya's fault for coming from, not just leaving it to Gabriel just to clear. So I think it's Raya personally, but I think it's a bit of Gabriel as well, because obviously, Raya could have just come and caught that, and there was just no communication. So I'm erring on that it was probably David Raya's fault. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I mean, everywhere, like on the social medias and online, they seem to be blaming Raya. But I'll be honest with you, I think that was probably Gabriel at fault more purely because he was the one sort of running backwards. And the way I look at it is, if Raya didn't shout to Gabriel like, it's my ball or I'll collect or whatever it is that they shout to each other, then yeah, 100,000,000% it is down to Raya. Like, that is his fault. That's his zone. He should be controlling that and shouting to the player or his defender to come and collect. That's his job. However, I feel like he did that, right? I don't know if the camera's caught it or not, but I just feel I can't imagine a professional world-class goalkeeper not shout to his. If you were in goal, you would have said the same thing, like to Gabriel, like, "Oh, it's my ball," right? And you would have called that. It can't be like, "Oh, well, we couldn't hear because of the crowd." I mean, that's just not right. But so for me, yes, I can see why the blame would go to Raya, but I feel like if he made that shout and Gabriel didn't react or respond to it, then I feel like that's down to Gabriel, because he's the one running backwards sort of thing, not facing the ball, whereas Raya, he is facing the ball. And yeah, so that's the only thing I would, in my opinion, is, like I said, if he made the shout, it's down to Gabriel. If he didn't actually make the shout, then yeah, it is down to Raya, because like I said, it's his zone. But yeah, I just wanted to know your opinion, really, and put it out there in the social spheres and whatnot. See, I'm just watching it right now real quick, and yeah, it just,
I don't know why. I can see it plain as simple as day. Why Gabriel's running back? There's no one around him. There's no one. And I just think, just leave it for Raya. So I don't know. I think it's Raya's fault, because they did the same thing at Sunderland, didn't they? If you remember, it was them two again. Yeah. Calamity, and I just think that potentially, and I said at the start of the season, you remember I said that Gabriel could be the cause of the fact that we won't win the league, and there's 4 points we've lost because of them two fucking buffoons, I called them at the time. Which they were, you wouldn't get.
Yeah,
I mean,
the three stooges, the two stooges in this case, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Forest game today. If you saw the last minute winner by the lucky fuckers, the Scousers, exactly the same thing. The defender gets in the way of the keeper. The keeper would have just carried it. It was an easy ball for the keeper to catch on the deck, and the keeper got in. The defender got in. They both got in each other's way. Very similar, but they didn't mention it. They didn't make a big thing about it like they do with Arsenal. It was just like, oh, it was great that what's his face who scored it, the number 10 for Liverpool, McAllister. Yeah, they said, oh, it was just great that he was there, but it was an error. It was a complete and utter defensive error that caused the goal. But anyway, yeah. It's one of those things, and I just think that those type of mistakes do cost you titles, and I hope that doesn't. It still might. That sort of mistake, the one against Sunderland, the one against Wolves, that could be the title decider. I know we're 5 points clear, and they've got a game in hand, so I don't know, mate.
I feel like, yeah, there was definitely a few mistakes in the whole team against Wolves. Since we're on that, there was that corner incident as well, which I'll be honest with you, right? After I saw that, that's where I lost all hope for anything that we were going to do anything in that match, because that was just absolutely fucking terrible. The most basics of their jobs, and they couldn't decide who was going to take that corner. We waited almost 2 minutes for someone to actually run over there, and then obviously eventually Declan Rice did, and he was pointing. What was he pointing at? His shirt? Was he doing this with his shirt? I don't know what that means. Like, if he was doing, obviously pointing to the armband, that's fair enough, because it's like, well, you're the captain, so you tell me what to do. Do you know? So yeah, I think after that, I sort of lost all hope in us doing anything. And yeah, lo and behold, what happens right at the end, right at the death of it. Yeah. So just to finish off on that, I just watched the replay a couple of times there, and I can't, for the life of me, I don't understand why Gabriel has gone up to head of that ball when there was no one else around him. Raya was there by himself. He had his hands out ready to grab it. So yeah, so that's why for me it's definitely down to Gabriel. Maybe not 100%, but most of it I think it is. Okay. But yeah, that was. I
do think just quickly. I mean, obviously, no, we didn't. I wanted to do a pod about which we'll talk about later. I just think everything was against us that night. Not just, I mean, because I said to you, didn't I, we were 2-0 up, and we should have been like 3 or 4 up in the first. We were that dominant, but everything was against us. Like, I think the ref, the weather was atrocious. And I was so glad that there was no rain today. I thought we played really well, but we will get on to that. But yeah, the weather conditions and everything all last week affected every game, and we just didn't cope with the conditions. I thought all the players were tired. Timber was shit. Battered was poor. I mean, obviously, everyone had a poor game, but the players that I thought that would have had at least a 3 or a 4 were getting like 1s and 2s, like the Timber, Martinelli, Trossard. I thought they were really poor, whether they were tired or not, but just I mean, he hooked Timber off today. I don't know whether he is fatigued or not, but his performances have dropped significantly, I think, Timber. As much as he was the best right back in the division for the first half of the season, he's clearly not now. There's something not right. So does he need a rest, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I will agree with you that he kind of needs a little bit of rest, because obviously what he's put in throughout the season so far, and I know he's had a couple of games off, in the last sort of couple of months or last month, but that's not really enough for a player who is as vital as Timber is, and again, he didn't have the best of matches today, to be honest with you. He was there, he did a decent job, I guess, but nothing exciting, and I don't want to spoil who my anti man of the match was. The opposite of man of the match was for our team, but it's going to surprise you and everyone else, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, look, Wolves happened, and going into this match, going back to your original question, going to this match against Spurs, yeah, it had certain vibes which I didn't really want to be living through, and as I said to you as well, I had people over for tea and whatnot, so we were watching the match, and it usually goes wrong when there's people watching with me, right, who are not Arsenal fans. It's usually because I feel like the bad vibes, I just sort of, just release them into my living room. And it happened. We scored. I was like, oh, get in. This could be a change. And then minutes later, obviously, they equalised. So, but yeah, look, first half. Before we get into that, actually, what did you make of the lineup? Any surprises for you? Any changes that you would have made going into it?
No, obviously back four sort of always starts when they're fit, especially with Nkapia now. I think he's sort of cemented that left back position. Midfield, a bit of a surprise with Eze, and obviously left wing. I think I would have started with Martinelli, but obviously because he was tired midweek, and then I think Trossard obviously had to come in. Saka, I thought he had a decent game. I mean, it wasn't great, but there was a time. I think it was a 50-50 game with Saka. Obviously we'll come on to individuals later on, but I thought Madueke was looking a bit tired against Wolves, so maybe it was a decent lineup, to be fair. I'm not sure whether Gyökeres should have started, but again, we'll come on to those. But yeah, I thought the lineup was, other than Eze, I mean, who else would you have played? Odegaard, yeah, possibly, but I thought Eze was great.
Yeah, I think I'm with you as well, man. There's not much that I would have changed from that. I'll be honest. Look, in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have started Trossard, but that's just hindsight. And then again, it's not like Martinelli had a blinder against Wolves. I thought he had probably one of the worst games of the season against Wolves. So yeah, it's probably right to bench him. Agree with Madueke, even though he has been, like we said, lively and chaotic, and he's offered different options to the team. Not a 90-minute player, not a 90-minute 7.5 rated player. Do you know what I mean? He's never that guy. So but for what he's done for us so far, he's been very good. So I can't fault him, but definitely, probably deserved that break. And then Eze over Odegaard in this match. Odegaard obviously coming back from a slight knock. There was no real surprises for me, to be honest with you. Even the back line, it is what it is. You're never going to have, you're never going to put Lewis Skelly in there, are you? So no. But yeah, in the midfield, exactly. And the midfield was what it was with Rice and Zubimendi. The starting 11. Those are the sort of pivotal points for us. So yeah. When the match started, I'll be honest, I kind of wished Jesus was on a little bit, because I felt like he could make better runs. The crosses were coming in, especially from Saka's side. So maybe during that sort of first half period before Gyökeres sort of scored, I was kind of feeling maybe Jesus would be the right guy here.
I did, yeah.
Again, in hindsight, you could be like, oh, he definitely made the right choice. But I'm just saying about the feeling of that moment when the match was happening. But. Look, first half, first goal from Eze.
Timber. Saka. He's got away from Sarr. Bukayo Saka. Eze! Claims Derby Day again! The Arsenal thorn in the Tottenham side. Eberechi Eze once more.
He's almost stumbling to the ground.
This guy has done it yet again. This was his fourth goal in 2 matches for Arsenal against Tottenham. So, talk about rubbing salt in the wounds of the Tottenham fans at their own stadium when Eze scores. And yeah, what do you make of the goal, by the way?
Great goal. I think it was Saka that beat Sarr, didn't he? Got a bit of a lucky deflection, and the goal was flicked over, and I think it just fell to him so nice, and he did like a half volley, didn't he? And I did think from then on, I thought we were so dominant throughout that first sort of 10-15 minutes, and but obviously there was that distraction with the refs and the communication, which I've seen it so many times. I know we're diversing a bit from the
that's fine, but sorry, it happened twice though, didn't it? Twice.
It happened twice, yeah. But what I'm saying is that I've seen it in a load of sports where a team's dominating, and then all of a sudden there's a break in play, whether there's an injury, whether there's something happens in the crowd or what, and the momentum shifts back to the opposition. I've seen it in football, and particularly in tennis. I'm an avid tennis fan, and I know that obviously Djokovic was the master of things like that. Just having a timeout, and then he's getting pummeled, match point against him, goes into timeout, comes back and wins the match so many times. And I've seen it happen so much in football that you could actually measure it by the time. The fact is that as soon as there's a break in play, if one team's got momentum, the other team will come back and they'll have more momentum, and that's what happened. Obviously, they equalised, didn't they? But no, first, just getting back to the goal, Eze, I thought he had a really good game, Eze, and he was really at it. Not man of the match for me, close. But that first goal, I don't know what your thoughts were on it. I think he was just at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and this is what we want from Eze, really, isn't it? We want that late run into the box and just find himself in that central area and inside the box, inside the 18 yard. But I think, yeah, Saka got a little bit lucky, even though, look, I'll be honest, with Saka as an overall performance today, I thought he did okay. He did well, right? There was obviously a couple of decisions which we discussed on WhatsApp, which we were like, well, could have probably made a better choice there. Even just jumping ahead real quick, even to the Gyökeres second goal, he still could have made a better choice. Was it Gyökeres' second goal? Or was it Eze? Eze's second goal, yeah. Eze's second goal, he obviously ran it all the way through the keeper. He got tackled and then obviously fell nicely for Eze. So I think even then he could have made a better choice. Obviously, luckily for us, fortuitous. But so we'll come back to Saka obviously throughout the pod anyway. We'll in and out. But yeah, good cut in, and this is what we want from Saka at the end of the day, right? If you're not going to drive towards the box and take a shot, sort of thing, then just make the cut-ins. And this is what he's good at. This is what we like about Madueke. He's been doing that quite a lot recently. So as long as Saka could keep up this sort of rhythm of play, I'm happy with what he does, without going into the whole world-class bullshit conversation again, which I don't really care about anymore. But he does do things, not to the level that obviously everyone holds him to, but he does do things, and I think this today was one of those matches where he made a contribution. Didn't score, but I thought he made a very good contribution for the team. He was getting tackled everywhere. He got his shins almost kicked out from under him as well, from I think it was Sarr, was it, or Drakeson? I can't remember who it was who just took him down.
It was Sarr, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was Sarr, because I think they had like a little thing going on there. And then Jed Spence, obviously, he was good against Saka. I'll be honest, he wasn't bad. Like Saka didn't just sort of take him for a walk. Spence was quite decent.
I do rate Jed Spence. Same. I do rate him, but yeah, I mean, obviously with Saka, we obviously we will talk a bit about his overall game. He was desperate to score. You could see that he was desperate to score. And I just think if he changed that part of his game where he has that bit of football intelligence, where he's not so blind, where he just thinks he gets it into his head. It's as though he's like 3 seconds behind, so he thinks to himself, right, I'm going to try and get a shot off here. Instead of thinking, right, I'll play the moment, and if someone else is in a better position, I'll just lay it off. I mean, there was about 3 or 4 players at one point in a better position than him, and I know he was trying, and I've got to give him his due. He does take players out of the game, and he does try, and he's quite strong. He's obviously stronger than Madueke. But it's good that the fact that he might be learning from Madueke. He's becoming a bit more direct these last sort of couple of games, and he had a decent game today, like we say. But it's just there's an element of his game that if he just changed it, tweaked it slightly, I dare say we'd probably win every game. Going into the final sort of 10 games, you know what I mean? I don't know.
It's a fair observation, isn't it? Because we've seen Saka when he's very good and he can be just brilliant, but again, it's not consistent enough to put him at any sort of level that Arsenal fans want him at. But yeah, and I like what you said that he's learned from Madueke. Yes, it feels that way, doesn't it? Because it sort of like feels like they're bouncing off each other, and he's sort of watching Madueke potentially going, "Oh, okay, well, I didn't realise I could have the freedom to do that as well," you know. But then today he sort of played with a little bit more freedom, and we saw that, you know. Again, decisions aside, he played with a lot more freedom. It's just that decision making that sometimes we really, really get pissed off about, because it's like, well, you're supposed to be this guy like up here. How are you not making this decision? So. But yeah, look, you know, he made a fine contribution throughout the whole match, and I was happy with his performance. Better than Wolves.
But this is 1 in 5. It's 1 in 6. It's not 1 in 2, 1 in 3.
Exactly.
You know, he's not having these great games that we all expect. Whether it is injury, whether he's now having a bit more of a rest, I don't know. I'm just hoping that he has these 6, 7 out of 8 out of 10 games every 2 or 3 games, you know what I mean?
That's
every
fair.
6 or 7.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And this is the thing with Saka, isn't it? This is what makes us mad. Is just, you know, limit the amount of times that you have these sort of terrible matches. We're all right with that, you know. If you score in every 2-3 matches or assisting, no, we don't care. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we're going to have the odd match where it's like, well, you should have scored here, or you should have stepped up as this guy that you are. But yeah, if he's doing it. Like Martinelli, for example, we don't really talk shit about Martinelli for the Premier League because of what he's providing in the FA Cup and the Champions League, right? But Saka's not even providing that. No. So again, anyway, that's enough on Saka. We'll move on from him. Then obviously their equaliser, Kolomwani, good player by the way. I do rate him as well. Yeah, I rate him. Sorry, just real quick on Jed Spence. There was a match maybe 2-3 years ago when we played Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. And Jed Spence was playing for them, and ever since then, I really, really rated him because I thought he was brilliant. I can't remember who we had on the right hand side then. Maybe Pepe or something. Maybe Pepe. Oh, who else? But anyway, ever since then, I really like Jed Spence. But obviously, you know, he's a Tottenham player now, so fuck him.
Very good player. He went to Leeds in the on loan. Didn't work out for him. But I do know a few guys from Borough who have sort of some connections, and my mate who was a Leeds fan said the same thing about what he'd heard rumours that attitude absolutely stinks, and that's why he didn't make it at the Borough or Leeds to that. But he's gone on to prove everyone wrong because he is a great left back, and I'd have him, you know, in the England setup personally.
Yeah. I've wanted him ever since he left Middlesbrough, to be honest.
Arrogant fucker.
That's the problem, and I think this is maybe why I'm guessing Arteta or Arsenal have looked at him at some point, or even the bigger teams have looked at him. Yes, offence to Tottenham, by the way. They looked at him and they were like, well, can't really fit into our team because of your attitude. Whereas at Tottenham, it's like it's a toilet bowl, right? It's literally a toilet bowl. It's a shitter. Yeah, everyone's got attitude problems there. Even like the manager's going to be like, the fuck did I just step into? And I think after tonight he's probably done that. He's probably gone back to the dressing room and was like, well, do you see how good Arsenal played? They're going to kick him out as well. It's like, come on now, man, you didn't just tell him the truth.
Did you see that pitch, that little inflatable of Frank? Fucking hilarious, wasn't it? I absolutely loved it.
What would have been the cherry on top, right, would have been if the camera panned and Thomas Frank was sat in the VIP booth just watching it
in the Arsenal end.
with a Tottenham cup.
Little cup, yeah, no. Oh yeah, the cup, fantastic, isn't it?
Kolomwani, it could have been a decent signing for us as well, but again, I don't know enough about him or his attitude to sort of, it just feels like some of these Spurs players, you look at them and you already make a decision of what type of person that they are. Spursy is the word that we're looking for. So Kolomwani not so much, because again he comes from some sort of...
He's on loan, isn't he? Is it Inter or Juve or something?
I thought it was PSG, wasn't it? Kolomwani?
Oh yeah. Sorry. He was at Juve, wasn't he? Tudor. That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, look, that Kolomwani goal for me, from what I watched, again, I don't really want to play the blame game because that's not what we do here. But obviously, as an observation, Rice was probably the guy who was kind of at fault. He lost the ball, he got caught in possession, and again, it was just the hype that he was giving everyone, and then for him to go in and do something like that, it's like...
It was the Steven Gerrard-esque, don't slip, lads, don't slip on. I was thinking, when he said it, and the irony of him trying to keep everyone focused, and 25 seconds later, he'd done that, and I'm thinking... For someone of his stature, his calmness, his ability to sort of see danger, everyone always says it. If you can't play, just rosette it. Yeah. Simple, isn't it? Yeah. Football is simple, and why do that? He had umpteen chances, options to sort of lay it back to Raya, to Saliba, or just to hoof it out, and he tries to take him on there, and yeah, you held his hands up, but again, that could have come back and been worse. Could have cost us the points, but luckily it didn't. But he had a bit of a game like that, I thought tonight. Did you? I think he gave a couple of times. He did the same sort of thing, and I was like, "Whoa, Rice, what are you doing?"
Yeah,
you probably think the same, do you?
I think without spoiling my
spoiler alert, I think I knew you were going to say Declan Rice because that's mine as well.
Yeah, he probably had the weakest game that I've ever seen him play. And I know we said that about when he faced Man United. Man United. Yeah. But I think that again, it's funny how football can quickly change. He went from that match, he had very good matches, and then all of a sudden he has an absolute stinker, I feel. Very uncharacteristic for Declan Rice.
It's very rare, isn't it? Like very you say, rare. He has one like every 10 games or something, but very rare for him.
It's I think for Rice.
Do you think it's pressure?
I think today especially, I think it was after that mistake, I think he sort of dropped his head a little bit because he maybe felt like, I may be the cause to let my team down here. I may be the cause of the downfall, but that's fine. I don't really... Rice has been good enough for us. That's the truth of it. I can't sit here and be like, oh fucking hell, what the hell was he doing? I can't criticize him too much because even great players will have those slip ups. Just for that goal, I felt like he was definitely the guy to blame because of like I said, got caught in possession. Colin Mwani, he wasn't going to really miss from there, was he? He was always going to put that away. Sometimes a keeper will surprise you and stick an arm out or stick a hand out. Foot out sort of thing, and it will save. But no, unfortunately, on this occasion,
it was too much of a good shot.
It was a good shot.
The defenders probably could have done a bit better, but I'm not taking anything away from the strike. It was pretty good enough. Like you say, we do rate him, and I think he's proven over the years how good he can be. And obviously, ironically, it's his first goal of the season. It comes against us, but. Take nothing away from him. He made all that goal himself, and it was a good finish.
He did, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think it could have been, 100% could have been a lot worse if all of them dropped their heads. But luckily, we had players who against Tottenham who thrive, and there was I don't know if you watched the Arteta interview at the end. There was a question that he asked about Eze, about starting Eze, right? And he said,
seen it, yes.
And basically he said something like, there's certain players that have certain qualities that we need in these types of matches. And from what I gathered from that, like what I read between the lines is, I picked Eze to spite Tottenham. That's what
I think. That's exactly what he did.
Right. I think that's the only way. I put a clip of it here, so obviously for people to listen to when the pod's out. But I think it was hilarious the way that he covered that answer. But I think that's what he meant, didn't he? I think he meant like he's got 3 over there. We kind of hoping that he was going to shit all over them.
I wish they'd have kept him on. I wanted to keep him on. I wanted to get his hat trick because I think he might have.
I think he might have as well, and that would have been.
Would have been the second player in history to score a hat-trick in the same season against Spurs. Was it? No, was that Adebayor or the other one or something?
That stat was against the same team in the same season, so home and away, scoring a hat-trick. Whereas for for Arsenal, I think isn't he the record holder, or is he one away from the record holder? He's the record holder, isn't he?
I thought Henry has the most scored against the Spuds.
No, I'm talking like hat-tricks wise, by the way. Like not.
Oh, hat-tricks.
Yeah, I think he may be the record holder. Right?
Who?
Eze? Am I right in thinking that way? Because there was
I have to look that up. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to have a look at that real quick. Hat tricks against Spurs for Arsenal. Right. Who became the first Arsenal player to score a Premier League hat trick against Spurs in a 4-1 win? Yeah, I thought so as well. He is the record holder for that.
So no one's actually scored a hat trick against Spurs before.
No, for Arsenal, no. In PL history, yeah, that's crazy.
But what about? Because obviously they were on about a double hat trick. So what would that have been?
So the double hat trick that was for against the same team in the same season. Yeah, and I think Adebayor was against Derby. So home and away, he scored a hat trick against Derby. I think they said 07-08, if I'm not mistaken.
But shit of Arteta really taking him off, innit? Fuck you, Arteta. We at last see him on the training pitch tomorrow.
You mag.
You weird fucking leg lad.
I'll paint the rest of your hair, you bastard. But yeah, so that was the first half, and not really the situation that I wanted to go in the first half with. But you know, hey, it is what it is. And honestly, I had faith. I had faith that Arteta was going to absolutely rile these guys up by the time they came out for the second half, because you know, you're facing Tottenham away from home. Their crowds are obviously up for it, but they're very fragile as well. They're very on the you know, teetering on the edge of insanity. That's what the Spurs fans are doing. And I think after the third goal went in, they just all disappeared. You see them all walking away. I think even after the second goal for us, I think they sort of went, screw this. But yeah, we emptied the stadium everywhere we go, because that's what we do. And Tottenham get battered everywhere they go, even at home. So fantastic stuff. But yeah, so second half, within minutes, Arsenal up to what they do and what they have been doing at the beginning of the season, where they obviously start the second half very strong, especially up to the hour mark. Gyökeres,
what a hit! Victor Gyökeres has come up with a spear of a strike for Arsenal, and right at the start of the second half.
He hasn't always been smooth, but this was really silky. His first touch is good.
I mean, hey, look. You know, tell me your thoughts on when you saw him shoot, or sort of like, you know, get ready to shoot from the outside of the box. Did you think he was going to score?
No.
Same.
Do you know? But obviously, I know fucking Neville alluded to it throughout the first half. He said he's having his best game, and I sense something. I don't know about yourself. I sense he was more involved. His touch was a lot better. You know, he was controlling the ball, and he was bringing players into the game. And I thought, you know what, he's having a really good game. I hope he scores. But I didn't expect that shot from there, and I didn't expect it to. Obviously, you know, he's as strong as an ox, isn't he? He is a proper bull, and all he needs to add to his game now is goals. And like say, 10 games to go. If he adds 2 goals every game, fucking hell. But that shot was great shot, nice power. I mean, obviously Vicario got a sort of fingertip to it, but it was too powerful. It was an absolute rocket of a shot, you know, just right outside the box. But then it was Timber, wasn't it? I mean, Timber come off later on, but you know, it was a good cross. It was a good cross in. Obviously, Eze missed it on purpose. Probably took the defender away, and obviously that first touch by Gyökeres was great. Great first touch. It was bang.
It was brilliant, and I'd like to think that Eze pulled the Dragusin away as well, but I don't know if that was intended. But either way, it worked. And like you said, Timber with the assist, obviously, because it was a good cross, good touch, and a good finish in the end. It was a nice little mini sort of curler. Didn't obviously curl like crazy, but and like you said, Vicario, he got fingertip to it, but just not strong enough. So, and obviously, Gyökeres showcases his strength in his second goal, which is at the end, which obviously we will get to. But yeah, you're right. He is as strong as an ox, and you're not going to really take him down just by sort of rubbing shoulders with him. And I think it proved today. But yeah, so yeah, at this point we're 2-1, and yeah, I think after we went 2-1, I think all my nerves dropped. Again, it could be just easily said now in retrospect.
I was still a bit concerned personally. I still thought, you know what, 2-1, we need another. I sent a message to the father-in-law, and he was like, if you lose it from here, and I was like, true. I said, but we need another goal to calm my nerves. And do you know what I mean? Yeah, I was nervous, like I say, because of what happened at Wolves. So I think the lads were determined today, and like I say, it was a good. Obviously, a good response from the Wolves game, and I think they were determined not to lose it today, which that gave me a bit more faith, like you say. Yeah,
they held strong, really, even after the sort of shaky parts after they scored their first goal. But yeah, This is the thing, though, isn't it? Like, that's what we always said. We don't question the players or the talent of the players. Is just the way that they put themselves across in these situations and against these opponents. And I think from now on, until the rest of the season, every match should be played like we're facing Tottenham away. Right? I think that's probably the only way I can put that. I mean, we face City, and we need to go to City and put in a better performance than we did today, really, to sort of match them. And then obviously we need an extra good performance to beat them. So yeah, it's not going to be like like we're facing Tottenham. It's literally going to be we're going to be facing Man City very soon. And Chelsea, again, they're not fucking mugs either. If they're on their day, they could really, really hurt our chances. So, that's another strong match. So we've got Chelsea coming up, and then obviously I know City's in April sometime, but from after the
18th.
Chelsea match, so after the Chelsea match up until the City match, the Premier League games in between, they need to be absolutely spot on. No, we can't have any more mistakes. Forget what City are doing. We need to do what we need to do. We can't win the championship relying on someone else to do bad. So yeah, but yeah, 2-1 at this point. Yeah, like I said, it just calmed me down a little bit, and from then on, I felt like we were a little bit more in control of the match. They didn't really offer. I mean, I know Colomwani had another sort of close call, but nothing really came of it. And obviously to your delight, Eze makes it 3-1.
Here goes Eze, through goes Saka. It came back to Eze, who scored for Arsenal. This day, this occasion belongs to Eberechi Eze.
Can't really miss in the end, but that is a big goal.
It's a nice layoff by Gyökeres to Saka, and then obviously this is what we talked about at the top of the episode with the decision making. Like, even this, yes, it ended in a goal, but the decision making could have been so much better from Saka. It could have happened a lot earlier, but he took the chance, took the risk, and luckily for us, that rebound came to Eze to put it away. But yeah, it was again Gyökeres proving why he is good. Even though he hasn't been scoring the way we want him to, he's in double digits now in the Premier League, 10 goals. I'm happy with that, to be honest. And yeah, if he carries on even a goal every 2-3 games from now until the
15.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah,
with
I think Saka. I think he did it a couple of times similar to that, where he was through on goal and his final shot was just like very, very poor or weak, or it got blocked. So I was so frustrated, and then obviously I was frustrated and elated within like 2 seconds. Obviously the fact is, as it gets the lucky rebound, because it came off the defenders. Well, it wasn't the defender. He's a makeshift defender, wasn't he? What's he called? The right. He was playing right back today. But anyway, it came off his heel. Sorry,
Paulinho,
that's the one. Yeah, obviously Gyökeres, it was great. Eze initially, then obviously Gyökeres held the ball up, didn't he? I think, and then a little flick to Eze's nice little pass through to Saka. And I thought, first time, just hit someone like Salah, possibly. I don't know, would have just maybe chipped that over the keeper, but he took it on. He wanted to get closer and closer, and the space gets less and less the closer you get the keeper, because he came out. And I just thought, these chances could go back and haunt us, but no. Eze, Johnny on the spot, right place, right time, little deflection, and I think he had a chance early, didn't he, Eze, where he sort of came inside and hit the ball. I think one of the Dragosan, I think it might have been, but he hit it on the floor, and I think he knew he should have lifted it, but he lifted it this time, and that was the way to go, lift it over the defender.
And it sort of complements the first goal as well from Eze, because of the same or similar run that he made into the box, and in that sort of situation. That's what we want from him, right? This is what we say all the time, like, just give him the freedom to do that, because he is very, very dangerous when he does that. And he knows how to finish a goal. So yeah, it was good to see nice link-up play with Gyökeres again, doing what we know he can do. And that little flick just sort of took out two defenders and obviously helped Eze finish it off. But then after that, 84th minute, we have almost heart in mouth sort of situation, because they're through on goal, and I can't remember who their player was, from Jet Spence maybe coming in from the right hand side, and Raya just cleans it off the line. I mean, What did you
I think that was a Rice fault as well, wasn't it? I think Rice gave the ball away. It was another moment where Rice was probably thinking, "What the fuck am I doing?" I think he was back. It was in our left back position. I think it was, if my memory serves me right, and messing about with it again. Putting his defenders under pressure, getting the ball back, and then trying to dribble his way out instead of just either hoofing it or just playing it safe. And I think, again, it was another cause for concern, because if it had been 3-2, obviously, Raya kind of made up for his error at Wolves, but today he sort of redeemed himself a bit again. So I think he was back on level sort of terms of redeeming himself and making him as good as any other Premiership goalkeeper, but very, very lucky.
Raya the Redeemer, love it. I honestly, I rate him highly. I really do. He has mistakes in him, of course he does. But like we said before, many keepers do. Many great keepers have. Neuer, he's obviously had many mistakes. Ter Stegen at Barcelona, when he was at his peak, he had many mistakes. Donnarumma's the same. So I can't put him down because of what happened at Wolves. Like I said, I'm still going to stick with the fact that I think it was Gabriel to blame there anyway. But yeah, he does pull out saves like this. He either something like off the line or a fingertip, like we're talking fingertip save from close range. He will do that, and he will keep us in a match. And today was exactly one of those days, and obviously not enough for him to be man of the match or anything, because we won 4-1. So
saying that he did command it. He did come and collect some balls, some crosses. Absolutely. So he did command his box quite well. Whether that's just obviously communication is better, but I thought his handling was pretty good today. Like you say, not man of the match, but handling was very good. And obviously that clearance off the line to sort of it being 3-2 was sort of like as good as a match-winning save anyway.
It was, yeah. I mean, 84th minute, it will definitely would have got very, very shaky and cagey by the end of the match. And plus the fact that we had, 7 minutes at a time by the end?
Yes.
So that was what we're talking, almost 20 minutes. Almost 20 minutes worth of game time that they could have 100% stolen an equaliser. But yeah, we kept strong, and that was
13 to be exact.
Yeah, well, yeah. Was it 13? Was it 13? Almost 15 there, sorry. Almost 15 minutes. We're not mathematicians, all right? Let's just stop the madness.
2 + 2
equals... Right. Yeah, sure, why not? So wait, hold on a second. 17 minutes, 6 there. Yeah, that's right, you're right. It is.
Almost 20. Well, almost 14 really, but...
Almost 15. Let's just round it up to 15. All right, let's round it up to 15, for God's sake.
I like it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Your train of thought's gone now, isn't it?
It has. But it's fine.
Have you got any whiskey left?
I don't. I think
have a quick swig.
Can you see that?
Oh,
see that little sip?
Yeah, a little teaspoon.
That's ridiculous. That's not even a teaspoon. That's like an espresso.
10 cc.
That's an espresso spoon.
Do it.
Okay, that's more brain cells dead now. So, but yeah, so that was a great save from Raya. But yeah, interesting that you said there as well that he did come out for a lot of balls, didn't he? Like he came out quite a lot, like to pick them out of the air. And I haven't seen him do that a lot this season. No. Which, if it's a new addition to his game or something that he's been told to like put more emphasis on, brilliant. It was a good way to see it. Obviously, it can get a bit risky if if he doesn't grab that ball very well. So it's a dangerous game to play sometimes, especially if they've got, like if you're facing a Newcastle or something, they've got tall players. It can get very, very dangerous. So, but yeah, luckily for us, it's still at 3-1, and then right at the end, Gyökeres.
Madueke, Ødegaard, Victor Gyökeres seals it with muscle and poise. It's Arsenal again. 5 derby wins on the spin.
Assist from Ødegaard. Ødegaard picks it up, pass to Gyökeres. And this is where he just showed his strength. And I know he was facing Archie Gray, who was just, a wet rag, really. But he just... Yeah, it's like he wasn't even there. It's like Archie you shouldn't even been playing that match, to be honest, because this is a grown-ups game, and Gyökeres proved that Gray is not the guy.
Men against boys.
It's men against boys. It really was, especially in that situation. So that's an assist for Ødegaard. Just came off the bench, and that's Gyökeres' 10th goal, man. In the Premier League. So yeah, I think, game over, 4-1. I've literally written here, fuck Tottenham. That's in black and white now, by the way, so I can't erase that. But yeah, I think. What do you make of the last goal? And did you think that was just beautiful to watch?
It was. I mean, obviously, I'm over the moon with Gyökeres because, like you say, he had a great game. I don't know about obviously with the Odegaard situation. Has his head been turned? Does he want to be off? He had no one else to pass to. I'm surprised he didn't go square, to be fair, and pass it to someone to his right. But no, fair play. He put Gyökeres through, and Gyökeres held obviously Archie off, which was not too easy. Not too, anyone could probably do that. And he looks a bit sharper, doesn't he, Gyökeres? And he's, it was nice. As soon as he was through on goal, I knew he was going to score. I had no doubt. That was like a Haaland type. Once he's through on goal, you score. An Alan Shearer type. Strength, physicality. And obviously when it nestled in the top of the middle of the top corner kind of thing, it was sweet to see, should I say?
It was no doubt that he was going to score that. And this is maybe something that Arteta had been seeing in Gyökeres for a long time, and this is maybe now the time. Look, if this is the time where he's sort of stepping up to score goals, shit, perfect timing, man. Thank you very much. But it could just be one of those situations where Arteta knows that this is what Gyökeres can provide, but he just needed a bit more time to pull himself together. And I think so far, and especially in the last 2 games, I think he's been very good doing what he does. Again, we need him to score goals. I'm not judging him on how many passes he's making.
But we've got to be able to feed him, haven't we? We can't just...
Exactly.
Tottenham did play into our hands effectively. As good as we were, they were shit, and they opened up. They were at home, and they probably have to. Whereas 9 out of 10 teams always have a low block, and our build up so slow. Look at Wolves, Brentford. Even when we're playing the bigger sides, they tend to sit back. As good as we were, they were terrible, but we have to play into Gyökeres' strengths, and that's what I think is his strengths when the ball's played in front of him. It's proven. Proof is in the pudding.
It is, and I think you can even obviously feed him on the outside as well, and he's got a powerful shot.
He's good at holding up and bringing other players in. I like
it. Exactly. And I think it was interesting in that post-match interview with Eze and Gyökeres. The guy asked him something to do with the match, and his answer was like against these, and you could see Eze's face just absolutely just breaking down and just laughing.
I know. And then the pan to Eze, then he heard Gyökeres laughed.
See that I think that when you think about it, right, what you said as well, like he looked a lot sharper, especially in this match. I think him being around the likes of Eze and Saka and the sort of London boys and the Arsenal boys, from young, I think that sort of rubbed off onto him to say, like, look, this is how important this match is, right? The best thing you can do is embarrass Tottenham. That's the only thing you need to do, right? Embarrass them somehow. And I think he sort of took that upon himself to be like, I'm going to become an Arsenal legend today. And he was. A legend was born. If he's got a hat-trick, right? Legend status.
Oh, absolutely. Regardless of how shit his rest of the season is, that would have been legend status.
Legend status, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that Eze did it, obviously, in the previous fixture, and then Gyökeres would have scored a hat-trick in this fixture. Just beautiful. 2 new signings coming in just to break all the records at Arsenal against Spurs. So, but that was the 5th consecutive win in the North London derby.
Absolutely.
So, I love it. And I'm waiting for, I don't know if you follow this guy on Instagram, but it's called Expressions Oozing, right? And if you don't follow him, please do, because especially in the last couple of months when Tottenham have been absolutely trash bags, he has had some of the funniest social media stuff. He's a Tottenham fan, by the way, but he rips into his own team. Like, it's so funny. Like, if this guy was a rapper, right, with his bars that he lays down, he would have murdered everyone. Like, I'm not even joking. He's so funny. So I'm waiting for his video to come out just to see what he says about this match. But yeah, I love watching. Sorry, by the way, Sky Sports gave Gyökeres man of the match. Do you wanna go into player ratings? Like, not player ratings, but good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, good, the bad, and the ugly. So. The ugly, I think we've got to obviously both agree that it was Rice today.
It was. That guy was ugly, man. mirror cracker.
Yeah, I don't like slating one of our best players of the season, but today was one of his worst games, and unfortunately we got away with it. Yeah. So we couldn't have got any other game we might not have. If it was against City, Liverpool, or whoever. I doubt we would have got away with it. But yes, I don't think Timber was that good. Although he did set Gyökeres up, but that was about it. I think he had a bit of a poor game. Like he had a poor game at Wolves. Bad. so the good, the bad, the ugly. So he was. So Rice was the ugly, and bad. Who would you say was bad? Trossard wasn't great, was he?
No. Maybe a Zubimendi in there. And
Zubimendi was just. Do you know what I thought was Zubimendi? I kind of focused on him a bit, and I thought, what's he doing? But he, as good as Xavi Simons is, he had him kind of in his back pocket. I thought he really marshalled him really well, to be fair. So he didn't do anything amazing, but he did keep Xavi Simons quiet, which I did think was quite good. So he was all right. He was just his usual sort of 6.9, 7.1 kind of thing.
I'd probably put Martinelli in there as well, to be honest, in the bad category.
Well, you only had like 20 minutes, didn't you?
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, that's fine. But I mean, 20 minutes, that's a majority of a half, really.
Yeah.
So.
Well, saying that, I thought Mosquera was good when he come on.
Yeah, Mosquera was good. Obviously, he was the one who actually cleared it off after Raya saved it. So, which is that's really nice.
Yeah, and he set up the fourth goal, didn't he, at some point?
Yeah, he did.
But he was good. He was no nonsense. It was just kind of like, don't mess about with the ball. Sometimes Timber does, and I think just fucking clear it.
Yeah. Timber does. Saliba does. Gabriel, they all fuck around with the ball sometimes. But I think Mosquera, he's got that.
They were messing about with it as well, weren't they? And they got caught out twice.
Yeah, I think Mosquera's got that sort of fear because he's a new player and he wants to do things right. And honestly, right now in this stage of the season, that's what we want. We want people to do the basics right. And unfortunately, like Rice, for example, I don't think he was doing that. So unfortunately, that's why he's going into the ugly pile. It's a bit. Maybe we need to. What were the categories before the bad?
Good, the bad. Oh, so it's.
So we had the man of the match. Obviously, we had man of the match. We had very good. We had good. And then poor? And
average.
Average and then poor? Is that right?
I think there might have been was it just shit? Good. Very good man of the match. I don't think it was that many different. I think they were all sort of like in three categories. But personally, man of the match, I think I'll agree with Gary Neville. I was thinking it all the way through the game. And I think Gyökeres for me. Definitely man of the match.
The funny thing about that is that I thought Gyökeres, then Gary Neville said Gyökeres, but at the same time when he said that, I was like, maybe I'm going to go with Eze. I thought he was very good.
Yeah, it was out of them two, wasn't it?
It was.
But I think obviously Gyökeres stayed on.
Yeah. And the fact that he scored the second goal as well. Yeah, I think. Yes. And even Gary Neville, funnily, he said, didn't he, in the commentary, he was like, for those of you who doubted me, no, you haven't. So, and I was like, do you know what, mate? Yeah, screw it. I'll admit to that.
Yeah, so I did.
So yeah, I thought it was man of the match, but it was between him and Eze. Absolutely, it was. But yeah, so obviously man of the match, that's a different category. That's one person only, like one player only. So and in terms of the sort of average to good players, that's pretty much where the Zubimendis will fall in. Raya will fall in. I put Ryan to the good category. I think that save pushed him up a little bit. And
possibly. I think he did have a bit better game than average. Yeah,
and the fact that obviously he was coming out for the balls and collecting them from the air.
Yes,
I thought that was
he did. You're right.
So, good. Obviously Saliba, Gabriel, and Capia. I thought he was good.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah. I think he's really solid, mate. Honestly, I know I sort of spoke highly of him at the start of the season. I do think he's a solid guy that's not going to let you down much.
Yeah, and he's proven it. Obviously, the first sort of few matches that he played, he was a little bit on the shaky side, but you can't use that against a player, really. So, in terms of Bukayo Saka, where would you put him, by the way? These guys have rated him 6.8 at Flash Scores. Would you put him in the average pile rather than good? I think so. Yeah.
I think he's average stroke good today. I'm not going to slate him too much, but I think some of his decision making was questionable, but he was involved in 2 goals, or 3 goals, was he? 2 goals. Yeah, so you've got to give him a bit of credit for that. But overall, average to good.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And then, like we said, Trossard and Martinelli's they're way down there. But as obviously, he definitely was in the good category because he was just fantastic. So I mean, look, obviously we had Odegaard come in a little bit later, but like you said, it sort of it feels like we're introducing a brand new player when he came on. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
As in, like,
I totally can see that. I know what you mean. It's like we've got to be like walking around, not eggshells with him because he's not like, it's the robustness, isn't it? You know, Eze can get bashed off the ball, but he's a big, fat, strong, robust kind of. No, I'm not going to be racist, but he's a big guy, kind of guy, isn't he? He's strong. He's a bit of Semenyo type build, isn't he?
Exactly.
Not as far as him, but with Odegaard, very nice, nimble player, but you know, gets knocked off the ball too easy for me. Whereas Eze, I do like his touches, and he's very silky, isn't he? He's silky, calm. You know, if he just has a bit more sort of impetus to his game, I think Eze could be world class for us.
Yeah, I think so as well, and it's just fine tuning the position that he's very good at, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I know for us it's easy to say, you know, play him in that free roaming, but each match, you know, needs different strategies and different tactics, so it's not as black and white as that. So I obviously I totally understand that, and this is why we're not coaches, by the way. You know, this is why we're some random people talking to each other over the internet. So you know,
what would you? Well, I mean, obviously you know, Hazard, is he going to be an injury prone? He never gets injured, but he seems to have like a stop-start season. I mean, it's great that we've got Havertz. Did I say Hazard? Havertz.
You did say Hazard, yeah.
Havertz, Eze and Odegaard in that sort of free, like number 10-ish role. But I would probably put Havertz over Odegaard at the moment. I think Havertz and Eze should be really vying for that midfield number 10 free role. And I think Odegaard, I know he's captain, but fuck that.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the captaincy in a minute.
Yes, we will do before we wrap it up. But I will. I'm happy with that, by the way, because Rice could always play Zubamendi's role, or even just give Rice a break. Zubamendi can do a job just very, very nicely, and Eze could play from deep like he did against. Who did we beat, by the way, where he played good?
Who?
Eze. Who did we beat?
Was it Wigan?
Was it Wigan? Yeah, it was Wigan, yeah, because he was very good against them. So yeah, that sort of deep line role, I'm happy for Eze to play that if it means Rice can get a break, or if it's an option for Rice to get a break. So, but yeah, I mean, look, is there anything else you want to add for the match, by the way? Like, what you saw, anything crazy?
Yeah. I mean, initially before kickoff, I think I sent you a message, you know, prior to the kickoff. I know you were probably hosting and stuff, but I did sort of say, you know, what are your thoughts? Are you confident? What's your gut feeling? And it could, you know, realistically, it could have gone either way, couldn't it? It was one of those after the debacle at Wolves as such. It was the mentality of all the players. Was Arteta going to get it right? But part of me was thinking, they're going to absolutely murder Tottenham because they won't allow, you know, it's normally after a shit performance or two, the next game they just obliterate whoever it is. But it could have gone either way. And it's the beauty about the Premiership, could have gone either way. And I think that we proved today that we're going to be in it right to the end.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm glad, by the way, because it would have been such a shame to end the season now. And I know obviously that's sounding very defeatist, which I don't want to be, but because again, as we always say, it's experience, it's history. That sort of, you know, that's what guides our emotions at the moment. But yeah, I'm glad that we bounced back. I'm glad that we bounced back against Tottenham, and I'm glad that the team has it in them to bounce back. And again, we have to caveat that we weren't playing a good team. Tottenham have not been good for a long time. You know, that there is absolutely no defence of theirs. They have been just terrible all season. So take that with a pinch of salt. You know, I think we'd probably take more pride in beating Wigan than Tottenham at this point, to be fair.
But it's a Northern derby, so it's biggest rivals. We've got to have some pride there. So, but no,
absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. I know, but looking at the results over the weekend, obviously Leeds got a point at Villa, nearly won them. You know, and he got 3 points. That would have been great for us. Obviously, Villa are anyway, but obviously Chelsea, they dropped points against Burnley at home. You know, there's only really Liverpool got a last minute winner, and obviously City, you know, hung on really. I didn't watch the game, but they hung on against Newcastle. So, you know, I know we were talking about the debacle at Wolves, but there's no easy game, is there? That's the thing. But no, just getting back to the overall game, I think the Eze Gyökeres partnership could be something that we could work on. I know it's each individual game. I know Arteta is like he's so pedantic in his scrutiny of every game, and you know, but I just think that partnership does look like it could thrive really, and that's why I'm reluctant to want to have Odegaard back in. I think Eze and Havertz do look, because they're more attack minded, they're looking for Gyökeres and looking for his runs, and I think they've got that intelligence, whereas Odegaard's great in his 1-2s, his nimble little five-a-side type playing, but I just think this final ball of late is a bit questionable. But overall, really happy with the 3 points. Obviously our goal difference has got a bit better, another 3 I think, isn't it, today? So yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, with the captaincy thing, yeah, we've said it for time really that it shouldn't be Odegaard, and I think maybe that's a conversation that's already been had, and maybe that's what's sort of pushing him towards the door, to be honest. And in a way, I don't blame him, because he obviously, what does that signify? It signifies that I've lost confidence in you leading my team here. So therefore, if you're not leading my team, then what good are you? Do you know what I mean? We have got replacements. Again, I'm not saying that he's not good. He is a good player. Just needs that consistency, and it hasn't been happening for the past year and a bit. So, but yeah, I think it should 100% go to Rice. I feel like the guy is emotional enough to get the team going at certain difficult moments. For example, if we're losing, and it's the 86th minute or whatever it is, or today, for example, if we've gone 3-2 down in the 84th minute, 3-2 in the 84th minute, I feel like he's the guy who would have stepped up to get the team going. Even after the mistake that he made, he didn't really let his head drop. Again, at least from what we saw visually, he's trying to get everyone back up and running again. But yeah, he knows how to lead the team. Odegaard's leading what? Norway? Like, who cares? There's like 2 good players. That's Odegaard and Haaland. So, change needs to be made there, I feel, at some point, maybe even in the next season. If Odegaard ends up leaving, whether it's mutual or not, it should make the decision a lot easier, to be honest. Even though I feel like Saka and Gabriel are probably right in the running for it. Again, Saka's not a good candidate for it. I feel like the guy's too selfish, and I don't really mean that in a bad way, by the way. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, too selfish, as in, it's like, well, I need to score. Like, I need to do. I am the star boy, so I need to do this. Well, okay, hold up a second. If you are captain, you should know how to delegate, right? To the rest of the team, the rest of the squad. And I feel like Rice can do that. I feel like he can delegate. And again, if he was captain during that whole corner fiasco, I just don't think that would have happened. I think it would have been sorted from the beginning. Like, right, Martinelli, you closer to it, you get that ball in right now. It doesn't matter, get the ball in, right? So yeah, it's certain things like that. And I don't think when that happened, I don't think Odegaard was playing, was he? When it happened against Wolves, not. So that's fine. I can't put blame on him, but Gabriel was. Right, Gabriel was the captain, so he didn't say shit. So not really a good sign in terms of what our captains are doing right now, and where the actual good captain candidate is actually just chilling there, just sitting there doing nothing. Give him the fucking armband from next season, and then watch us get on with it. But yeah, like I said, we've had this conversation a few times before, and it feels like it takes people a couple of months to catch up to what we're saying, right?
I think
because 2 months ago we were getting slated about Saka, but then people are agreeing with us now. So
you're absolutely spot on. But I wanted to do a pod midweek. I know you said you were busy and stuff like that. Well, I wanted to get in the captaincy and the lack of captaincy. Now, I know Saka was captain against Wolves, and I don't know if you watched they do the huddle, don't they? The team sort of bonding talk, and Saka was captain today, and he's too weak. Saka as a his personality's too weak. Now, he's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a lovely guy. He's very likable, happy, friendly face. But his team talk when in the huddle was no more than 5 seconds on against Wolves, and against Tottenham today. And I thought, that's not right. That's not inspiration. No. Captains, what you think about is like, Roy Keane or Steven Gerrard, John Terry, Tony Adams, Vidic or whoever. Those menacing type of players where you think yourself, fucking hell, I'm going to have to do my job today, otherwise the captain's going to give it to me and I'm going to look like a dick because he's the captain. And, that inspires winning mentalities. Saka doesn't. Rice would. And he's proven that over the course of this season and a bit of last especially this season, the last sort of 10 games, he comes out and you can see him on the pitch trying to organise things and keep people's minds stuff. And I just think it's, that's the natural progression, but not Saka, not Odegaard, maybe Gabriel possibly, because he's obviously a leader at the back. But Rice 100% has to be captain, soon. I know that he won't change it now, obviously, will he? He's not going to do it halfway through the season. Unless Odegaard and Saka are injured, or Gabriel, then Rice will be captain. But not Saka. He's too weak. He's too much of a nice guy. Please sort it out. If we don't win the Premiership this season, it's because of the captaincy. 100%. 100%.
It's definitely a factor in there, and especially, and again, just using that Wolves match as an example, it's something like that. If the right captain, or the armband was for Jesus Christ, if we had the right captain on, oh my God, I will end up speaking, by the way, but this is like, this whiskey's gone down very nicely right now, so I'm just going to look at the
see your eyes nice and red. Your eyes are like Jamie Redknapp's.
So sorry, what was I saying? I was saying something about something with the captains, but yeah, so captaincy wise, I feel like it could be a contributing factor to a reason why we could lose out on the Premier League title, because again, it's all well and good Arteta, waving his arms out from the touchline, but again, you need that person on the pitch. You need that person who's actually experiencing the match live, and who's part of it. And watching it from the sidelines live is not really the same thing. So, but yeah, I totally agree with you. And hopefully we get a change. And I hope to God it isn't Saka. Like, again, just really hope it isn't. But yeah, and you sent me something earlier. We were talking about Saka's contract. Or someone said, Rice should move. It was Adrian Durham, wasn't it, from TalkSport, I think. Yes. I personally, I feel like that's a bit far-fetched, isn't it? It's a bit extreme what he said there, or you should leave because you're being disrespected. That's a bit far-fetched, because again, Rice hasn't been there as long as Saka has. Saka's literally grown up at our academy. So I don't agree with what he said there. However, though, like I said to you as well on the message, that if we do not win this season, I do not blame Rice for leaving. To any team in the Premier League or outside, probably Premier League, but I wouldn't blame him for leaving. And I can see a Van Persie situation happening all over.
Yeah.
He goes to United, they win literally the next season. He goes to City, they'll win. It doesn't matter the manager. But yeah, so it's a bit, or Chelsea, because I know he's a fan, or his family are fans or something. I can't remember. He was Chelsea's academy, wasn't he? So yeah, any one of those teams that he goes to, they will be very, very good and very lucky to have him. So yeah, right. Anything else that you want to add for tonight?
This is the moment of the week for all you Gaylords. So you go with it first on that one.
Probably that whole debacle at Liverpool match. I feel like that was a bit like, what the fuck is going on? Seriously, like, how are you taking so long when you have automated offsides? Why is it taking so long for you to decide whether it was or it wasn't?
Or could it have been the Arsenal?
I was just about to say it was a toss up between that, but that was just more for time wasting. Really, it's like, well, why do we have to suffer for this crap? And it happened twice. So yeah, that definitely a contender for it. I felt that with the whole Liverpool one, it sort of felt like VAR was obviously helping them out as much as possible. So yeah, for me that's probably what it was. It wasn't anything massively exciting, but it sort of stuck with me, because why did it take so long for you to do it? If you can see that the foot was on, keeping him onside, why don't you just fucking show that first? Why do we have to go through all of this?
I know.
So yeah, and again, obviously the fact that Liverpool won, that doesn't make me happy at all. But yeah, for me that's what it was. For yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few really. I've just remembered the Kolo Muani second goal. It wasn't when he pushed. Well, he didn't really push Gabriel, did he? Did he? I mean, it was a bit weak, that, wasn't it? I mean, we've got to talk about that. But is it really a push? It was a bit soft, that, wasn't it?
We got lucky there, I feel. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, that's the way I look at that. Yeah, we got lucky there. I don't think that was anything to it, to be honest. It's just the fact that if Colomwani only had one arm extended, it would have been fine. But he had two arms extended, so you can't really... So obviously they're giving Gabriel the benefit of the doubt, because it's like, well, he's got two hands on your back, so chances are that he did push you. But when you watch that replay, especially in slow motion, you think, I don't think there was enough force. And the way that Gabriel flopped, it's like, that doesn't even seem natural for anyone to fall. Do you know what I mean? Who's been pushed? So
he got shot, didn't he?
yeah, he could have ended up getting a yellow for that, by the way, because yeah, it was that bad. But I'm glad that it didn't go anywhere. Or it was a foul in the end. So we did have some calls in our favour today, by the way. Like,
we did.
Especially that one. That was definitely one of those calls. And a couple of fouls outside the box as well, where it's like Saka falling and you're thinking, come on, just stay.
Yeah.
The amount of times I had to say, stay on your feet, please, to Saka. Just stay on your fucking feet, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's not going to foul you, if he's going to back into you sort of thing without fouling, just try and take him on. Why are you falling down? Okay. So yeah, that's
he does.
Yeah, he does do that, and I'm hoping that he changes that real soon, to be honest. But yeah, I tell you what, Stevie. Obviously, if we're not going to do next weekend, we will do something different.
We'll do something
different, which is fine. We'll still put it out for the people out there. But yeah, if there's nothing else you want to add, mate, we'll bring it to a close and we'll get this out for everyone.
Absolutely, mate.
Right, I'll let you send us out.
Au revoir. Oui, oui. Si. Arriva. That's all you Spud fans out there. Goodbye.
Stay safe, stay alert.